Hey y'all, so recently I picked up the last two of the Wet n Wild's Color Icon blushes. I had already been owning two of them. One I've had for a couple years now, and then another one I bought I think last summer or last fall. And so I picked up the two that I did not have last week during Rite Aid's 40% off Wet n Wild sale. And I don't really see many people talking about Wet n Wild blushes or using them in tutorials or anything. And I really like them. I think they're fabulous, especially because they're so inexpensive. And you know, a lot of people like Wet n Wild these days. You know, they've been doing big things with their nail polishes and their Color Icon eyeshadows and eyeliners. So I wanted to go ahead and do this review on the blushes since I have all of them now. I figured why not. So what I'm going to do is start with my most favorite and go down to my least favorite. Also, at the end of the video, there will be swatches of all the blushes that I showed today. And I'll just go ahead and get the, you know, basic stuff out of the way. The Wet n Wild's blushes are $2.99 at any drugstore. Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, I think some Walmart sell them as well. Any place that you can buy Wet n Wild, you will find their blushes. And this one that I have is their old packaging, back when they were calling them Silk Finish. And this color is in Heather Silk, but they do make this in the new Color Icon packaging. As far as I know, these are the same formula. They didn't change the formula or anything, just the packaging. So once again, they do still make Heather Silk. It's just in this packaging like the rest of them. This is one of the old packaging. Okay, so I'll start out with my most favorite, and this one probably shouldn't be a surprise to you, but it is the color in Heather Silk, and it is a matte deep pink. It's very pretty. I seriously believe this is the first blush that I ever owned. If not the first, it was definitely one of the first ones. And I still love it to death to this day. I've worn it in so many videos and used it in tutorials, and I'm really surprised I have not hit pan on it. But anyway, this is a really pretty blush, especially if you have darker skin like me. I do think this blush would look good on any skin tone, but it is very pigmented, so it's one of those types of blushes that you will need to use a light hand with because it does pick up a lot of product. By the way, typically I use my HD angled blush brush from Walmart or my Eco Tools blush brush to apply my blushes. But yeah, just wanted to say that. But this is, I mean, it's just my favorite blush of all time. It's matte, but it doesn't look ashy on me. It just blends in nice with my skin. It does blend well, and it doesn't fade after a few hours. This lasts on me all day, and I don't use a cream blush or anything under it. I just apply this directly to my skin as it is, and it just looks so good. And even though it's a darker, brighter color, it still complements darker skin tones and lighter skin tones. You just will have to use a very light hand with it because even for someone who has dark skin like me, it's still very bright, and if you apply too much, you're going to have to blend it out a little bit so you won't be looking like bozo. But this is definitely my favorite Color Icon blush, and I recommend it no matter what skin tone you are. It'll look good on you. Okay, so my second favorite is one that I recently picked up, and I'm wearing it right now, and it is called Mellow Wine. This blush is not matte, but it's not shimmery either. I guess it just has a nice little, some kind of sheen to it. Definitely a con to these Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes is that they're a little hard to open. And as you can see, I just had to use like the tip of this comb to open it up because I didn't want to break a nail. But anyway, this is the color. And once again, it's called Mellow Wine. This is the most neutral blush that they have in the collection. And at first I kind of hesitated to buy this one just because I thought, you know, what is this going to do for me? Because, I don't know, I just don't have a color blush like this, and I didn't know if it would show up or how it would look. But I fell in love with it from the first time I used it. And like I said in my job interview video yesterday, I wore this on a job interview. So it's definitely not too much. It's appropriate for everyday wear because, you know, it's not a bright color and it's not too dark, it's not too light. I think this blush will look good on all skin tones as well, but I feel like it would especially complement your skin if you were a medium or tan skin tone. But like I said, I mean, I have a dark skin tone and I have it on, and it's just the most natural looking color. Like, this is my new favorite everyday blush. It used to be my Black Radiance Baked Blush in Toasted Almond, but now it's this one. And just like the Heather Silk blush, this one lasts all day as well. It doesn't fade off after a few hours, and it's not as powdery as the other Color Icon blushes, and I'm not sure why that is. If you're familiar with a lot of the Wet n Wild eyeshadows, you know that they can be a little powdery, and the blushes are like that too, except this color is not. There's not a lot of dust particle when you sweep your brush in it. It just goes on very smooth and even, and once again, I recommend this. You can't go wrong with this color because it's neutral and it will look good on any skin tone. Okay, so my third favorite is called Berry Shimmer, and this is a really sparkly color, and it's the closest color to a red that they have. It's not a straight up red color, but it's more of like a deep pink type red, and it's definitely very shimmery. This is one of the shimmery blushes, but it's very pigmented, very beautiful. This is the most powdery of all the 4 blushes. Like, if you just barely tap your brush in this, the powder would just go nuts, so you have to be very careful with that. But this is a very beautiful blush. It has a it's like a golden sheen to it. It's just very pretty. I used this blush in my Soft and Girly Easter makeup tutorial, and it was just gorgeous. The reason why this is my third favorite is because it is a bolder color, and it can make you look like a clown, so that's why you have to go very easy on it. But if you just apply this very lightly, it gives you the most prettiest red flush to your cheeks, and this is a good blush to try if you want to experiment with red blushes, but you don't want to go into a straight up true red, because once again, this isn't a true red, but this is the closest thing to a red that the Wet n Wild has. And I'm not sure if you can see the shimmers in it, but it's definitely shimmery. And once again, I'm going to do swatches and include those at the end. And by the way, I think this blush will look better for darker skin tones. So once again, any skin tone could wear it if you use a light hand. Okay, so my least favorite is Pearlescent Pink, and I almost didn't buy this one because it's such a light color and it's so shimmery that I just knew it was going to be a disaster. But I went ahead and bought it anyway because it was 40% off, and you know, I had all the other ones. So this is what it looks like, and it's a light pink color. Looks slightly coral depending on how you turn it. It has a little bit of a silvery gold sheen to it. It looks, you know, okay. To me personally, the color doesn't look as exciting in the pan. I just bought it basically to try it out and review it. But this is my least favorite. This has absolutely no color payoff at all on my skin. It's pretty much just shimmer. It's almost as if I took a translucent shimmer powder and just put it on my cheeks. There's no pink or corally color whatsoever. So if you have darker skin, I would not even bother picking this one up. However, I did try layering it on top of my Revlon cream blush and first blush. As you can tell, it's a red cream blush. I do get better payoff with the cream blush, but it still kind of alters the color, and it's still very shimmery, and I just wasn't a huge fan of the way it looked. So this is definitely one that I personally, you know, wouldn't buy again or wouldn't recommend if you have a darker skin tone. It just won't do anything for you if you have a darker skin tone. This is definitely the perfect color for pale and lighter skin tones, because I feel like the color would show up better on you. It wouldn't just be, you know, shimmer all over your cheeks. As far as my skin tone, I feel like it would make more sense to try to use this as a highlighting powder, like, you know, for the top of my cheekbones or whatever. But as a straight up blush, like all over my cheeks, I definitely won't be using that, because I've tried it a couple times and I just did not like the way it looked. It was way too shimmery. And the Berry Shimmer blush is shimmery as well, but it has a lot of color payoff. It's not just shimmer on my face. So I guess that's all I have to say about the Color Icon blushes. Oh, and I do want to mention real quickly that the blushes come with this little, I guess it's supposed to be an angled brush, but I don't know if you can tell, it's not even cut straight across. It's kind of jagged and not even, and it's not soft, and it doesn't apply the color well at all. I've tried using it and it just did not work out. So you definitely need a brush. This little thing right here, it's just a disaster. It's not gonna do much for you. But yeah, I guess that's it. I definitely recommend these blushes, especially if you maybe don't wear blush and you want to try out some colors but you don't want to spend a lot of money. I personally am getting into blushes lately, so that's why I picked up the other two colors that I didn't have. And I love Mellow Wine, Berry Shimmer, and Heather Silk, except this Pearlescent Pink just didn't work for me, even on top of a cream base. It just didn't look as good as I hoped. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you know, just go ahead and ask. Leave your comments down below, and I will talk to y'all later. Stay tuned to the end for swatches. Bye.